Hi everybody. This is Antonia Namneth. I am the founder of the Weight Loss Surgery Foundation of America. I am making this video, which is live right now on Facebook, but I'm making it because I want to save this recording and share it and put it on the Weight Loss Surgery Foundation of America website. And the reason I want to put it there is because I receive many calls from people asking, how do I apply for a grant from the Weight Loss Surgery Foundation of America, or do I qualify to be a recipient of a grant? What is that process all about? And though it is on our website information, you go to WLSFA.org, look for the word grant on the top menu bar, and when you touch that with your mouse, a subset will drop down and there's a page that says how to apply for a grant. And that is available to everyone, and there's resources there where, for example, if you don't have a surgeon, there's the ASMBS website linked there, which is the American Association of Metabolic and Bariatric Surgeons. And also there's a list of plastic surgeons, board certified plastic surgeons, where people can look for surgeons. So many times we receive calls from people looking for help to get grants. They have found us, maybe they saw us mentioned on television on My 600-Pound Life or on Chopped and soon to be Celebrity Apprentice and shows like that, and they have very little information, or they're just Googling looking for help because they found out, hey, I'm trying to get this bariatric surgery or reconstructive plastic surgery and I need help, I need money, I don't have insurance that covers it, I don't have the funds or the ability to borrow money. So the reason I'm making this video is because I explain this many times, and I want to be able to point people to this video so they can hear a brief explanation. So the grant referral program is a program for people looking for full grants. And a full grant means that they have insurance that exempts the surgery they need, and they don't have the ability to self-fund. So they don't have the money or the wherewithal to borrow or receive the funds on their own. And in that case, they can apply for a full grant, but the way it works is this: a qualified bariatric surgeon, that would be a Center of Excellence bariatric practice and surgeon, or in the case of plastics, an American Board of Plastic Surgery. We have to be part of the board certified group of plastic surgeons, can refer their patients to us, and they refer them and they ask us to help them help their patient. And that means that those doctors are part of the grant process, and they're part of the charitable act. So surgeons can say, hey, WLSFA, here's a patient that needs whatever surgery, bariatric or plastic. Here is why I'm referring them and why you should consider them for funding. And the surgeon will already be of the understanding and knowledge that that person cannot get the surgery without our help, our grant. So they refer them. They use an official form. We have a link we send to surgeons that would like to refer a patient. We send them a password. They fill out the form. They tell us the surgery type, what it'll cost for the self-pay rate. They agree that they'll waive their surgical fees if their patient's selected for funding, and they refer that patient. And as when a person is referred to us, we have their name and their email address, and the doctor has gotten permission to talk to us about them, so that we're not breaking any HIPAA laws. And then those people are emailed application forms. And the forms are primarily financial questionnaires, because what the committee looks at is the financial need of a person, and they look at the reasons the surgeon has referred them, as well as an essay we ask each applicant to fill out. And we ask them to tell us about themselves, what they've done on their own to try and gain access to the medical care they need, and why they need our help, tell us that, and what will they do as ambassadors for the WLSFA, how will they pay it forward so that other people can receive grants. So that's the first part of it. You have to be referred by your surgeon, so not your primary care physician. It has to be the actual surgeon that would do the surgery. Why? Because if you are approved for funding, that surgeon's agreed to waive fees and do their part to help us make these grants as low cost as possible, okay? So that our dollars that we raise can go as far as possible. And so we invite people via email to apply, and from June 1st of every year, so it's just started, our grant cycle, until New Year's Eve, we accept referrals, and we invite people, and of course accept applications, and they can come to us, you know, they have to be postmarked by the U.S. Postal Service or FedEx or whomever before January 1st, on December 31st, that's the latest. So for 6 months out of every year, we accept referrals and applications, and then from January 1st until the next June, we go through those applications and we fund as many of those requests as we can. And then starting again on June 1st, we start over. And people that have been referred and applied that are not selected for funding, they can be referred and apply again multiple times. And we have grant recipients that have gone through that. Rhonda Bowens, which is now, her name's Rhonda Campbell, she was not approved the first go around, and she didn't give up, and she tried again, and she got approved. So it is a process. And the other question that's asked, how long does it take? If I am referred and I apply, how long does it take before I get a grant? Well, number one, there's never a guarantee you'll get a grant, unfortunately. At this point, we don't raise the kinds of dollars that we need to fund every request we receive. Our average, or over these last 6 years, has been about half of the applications that are completed and you know, vetted and everything by a committee of peers are funded each year. So that's pretty good odds for a grant program. You know, a lot of grant programs, there's 1 or 2 grants and 3,000 applicants. That's not really the case with us. It's a smaller number. You know, the hurdles to being a grant applicant even are large. You have to get referred. You have to have a doctor that's willing to help. And then, of course, you have to be willing to fill out all of our paperwork and prove your financial need. You also have to prove that, for example, if a patient's referred and they say, hey, it's you know, $10,000, $12,000 for this grant to make the surgery happen, the applicants have to show that they cannot get a loan in that amount. So they have to show the loan denials, they have to show insurance that it doesn't cover it, or that they were denied, and if they were just denied by their insurance, they have to show that they appealed that and that was denied, and then of course they have to submit an essay. So there's quite a few steps. It takes on average a year from the time a person applies until they find out if they're funded, and it can take even longer than that. You know, we've had grant recipients where we approved their application and their funding, but we didn't have all the dollars needed, and so they had to wait until we could complete the fundraising. So there's no single answer to how long it takes, but it is a while. It's not a quick emergency fix at all. So that's for the full grants. And so number one, you have to be referred by the surgeon. Number two, you have to be you know, submit all of your application forms. And number three, you have to wait for a committee to go through all that information. They vet every piece of information, and then the committee, who is anonymous, we do not say who's on that committee. We will say that they are fellow patients. They are volunteers, as is everyone for the WLSFA, but we don't give out their names because we don't want, you know, there's always going to be disappointment. If we can't help everyone who's asking for help, there's going to be people walking away with bad feelings or sad feelings, and we don't want anything to go back on our committee. They do this job out of the goodness of their heart. So thank you, committee, for doing this. And we've got various members of our community on this committee each year. So they do a very, very important job. But we don't say who they are. So if you are interested in being on the selection committee, as it's called, that's great. You can always tell us at info@WLSFA.org that you're interested, and we'll get information back to you about that. But in any case, full grants, referred by your surgeon, you're sent an application, you apply, a committee vets all that information, and then the committee takes however many people are have done everything we've asked and are, have completed their application and all the information checks out, and they organize them in a certain order, and they present those approved candidates to our board of directors, which make all the fiduciary or financial decisions for the WLSFA. And the board looks at the packets and what the committee suggests, and then we look at the actual dollars that we have available for grants, and we start releasing grants. Okay, so that's how that works. And once a person finds out they are indeed a funded grant recipient, of course we've contacted the surgeon involved and the doctor, and then that surgery is scheduled like any other surgery, and we actually pay the provider. So another question is, do you give me money and do I pay the bills? No. The WLSFA has, in essence, a trust or a fund for each grant recipient. We hang on to those dollars. The grant recipients themselves, by the way, have to raise and give us 10% of what they're asking for. So if, for example, it's a $13,000 grant that needs to happen to make this work, they have to raise $1,300 or 10%. So they give us their portion, we take our portion, we put those two together, and that's how we fund the hospital bills, anesthesiologist, pre and post-operative testing, and sometimes there's nutritional counseling and psychological counselors, and all these different players, all these providers. We pay them directly, and the patient is treated like any self-pay patient. Oftentimes the hospital and those professionals know nothing even about the grant, so they're not treated differently or in any kind of negative way. It's actually a really joyous thing. Usually everyone involved, including the medical providers, are super excited. So that's how that works. Referred, apply, a committee reviews all that, and then we fund as many as we can, and those people get their surgery. As far as the committee, one more thing about them. When they're looking at the applications, by the time the committee gets the information from the applicants, we have blacked out any personal identification information, name, nicknames, locations, doctor's names, anything that would have been in that essay that would identify who that person is, because we try to create an incredibly level playing field where the people are selected on financial need. That's what we're considering, and effort. What have they done on their own to try and get the help they need? Because in all honesty, the WLSFA is looking for people who have no other options. We're the end of the rope. We're the last knot that they can hang on to get the surgery they need. Not people that have just started and are just kind of seeing, can they get surgery? So it's a long process. It's an important process, and many people have gone through it, and we're very thrilled, that we now have 21 lives that our grant program has affected, and so that's cool. But this video is going to be on our website for people calling in and writing in saying, how does this work? A lot of times they'll say, well, I'm on your website and I don't see my doctor's name, or I called a doctor that I found on your website and they don't know about you. Well, that happens because, for example, a doctor may have done a grant with us, and 2 years later somebody's calling their front office asking if they'll be referred for a grant, and the person on the phone has no idea what they're talking about because staffs change, people change, knowledge doesn't get transferred. Whether your doctor's on the list on our website or not, or even if they are on the list, nothing guarantees they'll refer you. It's always up to the doctor who they refer. Why? Because they're part of the charitable act. They're not just giving us your name. They're saying, help this patient and I too will help. Okay, so they have a say in who they decide to help. And so there's no guarantees. But what we will do is, let's say you don't have a doctor at all, and you don't have any money, and you really can't afford to go and do consults and all that kind of thing. We don't even recommend you do that, by the way, especially if you're in that situation, if you have no money to even pay for a consult. What we do recommend, in bariatrics anyway, is that you look for centers of excellence that have live in-person seminars, bring a printout of information that we provide on our website under grants, how to apply for a grant. There's a link that says print this document out for your doctor. That's just basic information about the WLSFA and our grants, along with a way to write us and call us and email us. So you go to a seminar in person. Usually at a seminar there's a surgeon, staff members are usually there, sometimes former patients that will do testimonials. You get to meet a lot of different people face to face. You can then go in and say with a problem, but also with a solution. You can say, you know, this is a surgery I'm looking for. I don't have insurance or money that will cover it. However, I bring to you a solution, and here's information about this grant program. Hand them the information, and then ask them who at the Weight Loss Surgery Foundation, who can we contact in their office to give them more information, email them a link to the referral form, and educate them on the program, because they need to learn too. A lot of them, the first time they hear about us is from a person looking for help. So they're a lot of times don't know what it is. So we at the foundation, and really that's what I do in the background most of the time, is I'm talking to medical providers, explaining the program, why it's a good idea to participate and all of that. So I hope this answers, this is the majority of the questions I get. And anybody who would, I have an email that we send out a lot of times to people looking for help. It's sort of a step-by-step. Okay, step one, get a referral. If you have a surgeon, do this. If you don't have a surgeon, do that. And it's sort of a laundry list of things to do and suggestions on how to approach a bariatric practice or a plastic surgeon about the grant program to see if they might consider referring you. And you can get that email from us just by going to contact us on our website and asking for grant information, and we'll send that to you along with the direct phone number you can call with questions after you've read it all. And you know, you can get to that. As far as plastic surgery grants, there isn't, the ASMBS is a great database of all bariatric medical professionals in the US and Canada and even other countries. There is not such a database for all reconstructive plastic surgeons that are American board certified. Unfortunately, there is a link on our website to some surgeons, but you have to search a little harder. And the other thing about plastic surgeons is they don't necessarily have free seminars you can attend. So you might actually just have to print that paper off and walk into the office. And we recommend, don't cold call these offices. Either go to the seminar and walk in, have a face-to-face meeting, even if it's with the receptionist, whoever, and just, you know, make sure you're up to speed, you understand what you're asking for, what you're talking about, and then let us, the WLSFA, do the education on exactly all the details of the grant program. So I hope this video's helped, and if you have additional questions for me about the grant program or for our foundation, you can email me at info, I-N-F-O, at WLSFA, that's the acronym for Weight Loss Surgery Foundation of America. So info at WLSFA.org, and just let us know what your question is, and we're happy to you know, reply to you or call you or whatever works. So good luck everyone for this grant cycle who is going to try and be referred and apply. You know, it's our honor and really a great privilege when we get to award those grants. We try and share that with the different board members to let them call and tell someone that they've actually received a grant. It's probably one, I call it my Ellen moment. How lucky are we that we get Ellen moments? So we'd like to do a lot more of those. So I'll end this by saying, if you're a weight loss surgery patient and weight loss surgery has improved your life and indeed, like mine, saved your life, please consider making a donation to the WLSFA. We need every dollar we can get. People that have been affected by morbid obesity have the most compassion for this topic. So we need you. We need you to help others get the help that we received because the need is great. 8 out of 10 people seeking medical treatment for obesity are denied. And we can't help everyone, but we want to help as many as we can. So thank you very much. Thanks for watching, and this will be on WLSFA.org under grants, how to apply for a grant if you'd like to point it to someone else or watch it later. Thanks. Bye.